back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. I am going to be cooking a little bit for you here in a minute, but I wanted to show or talk to you about some things. Well, let's just talk about what's going on, right? We have this virus going around. We have all these things happening that have never happened to us before here in our country and around the world, you know, if you're watching from another country. But here in the U.S., we are experiencing things probably have not happened in our lifetime. We have never had schools shut down like this before. We have never had businesses closed like this before. Airports, talk of airports being shut down, things like that. So if our kids, it's possible they could be out the rest of the school year. So those of you who have public school kids and have never homeschooled like we did, you're going to be like trying to figure out what to do with these kids, right? What to do with them while they're home, to keep them busy, and all those things. So I'm a certified science teacher, so I have a lot of activities and things that I'm used to doing anyway and teaching, but I was also a homeschool mom, so it's it comes a little bit easier to some of us. But there's, you know, for you parents who have never done anything like this before, it's going to be a challenge at first, but you'll figure it out. And I'm going to give you my 10 top tips right now for things to do with your kids while they're home. And I'm going to be adding a lot of new things all the time to my Instagram. So if you're not on my Instagram or following my Instagram, it's at Paleo Barbie. I always put it at the end of all my videos. I'm going to start putting it in my stories, like if there's a graphic. And then I'm saving it in my highlights after they've been in my stories. So they're always going to be there. And that highlight is going to be called like homeschool/kids or something. So I'll be putting stuff like that in there. You can look for while all this is going on, or even afterwards if you are a homeschool parent or a mom that wants some summer activities. That stuff will come in handy then too. So let's talk about the top 10 things I think are good tips right now for what's going on with kids being home. Because right now most of you guys have an extended spring break, but that may extend until the rest of the school year. So we don't know what will happen, right? So I think the most important thing, the number one thing, is to have a schedule. So try to, once their spring break is over, you know, let them have their spring break and do the fun things at home as much as you can, since we're being, you know, we're doing in-home, you know, things instead of going out in public and bowling and going to the movies and all that stuff that you do on spring break and going on vacation, which you may be doing anyway, but most people aren't right now, right? The most important thing after that spring break is over is to have a schedule. You don't want them to be like they are. A lot of kids in the summertime when you're off on school, they sleep in, they play video games, they watch more movies. They do a lot more of that kind of stuff than they normally would during the school year, right? So I think the most important thing is to have a schedule. So if they were going to get up and go to school at a certain time, have them get up at that same time, have them eat their breakfast, have them follow a schedule of some sort to keep them in a routine. Because it's possible that they might be out for the rest of the school year, and they do it depends on I guess it would just depend on the state. Some states it might be a wash and they start in September. Some states might make them go in the summer. So I think it's important to keep them on a schedule so that they will not, it won't be as hard for them to adjust when they go back to school. And I feel that's great for homeschoolers as well, because we always had a schedule. Now your schedule might be different. Your kids might get up at 9 or 10 o'clock and do their schoolwork then. And others can get up early and get it done and want to have the rest of their day. That's just how everyone's different, and that's the beauty of homeschooling. But if your kids go to public school, I would suggest keeping them on the schedule that they're on already, because they're used to that. And it also makes them have a sense of normalcy, so that they feel like nothing's changed that much, you know? So that's my first thing, is schedule. Number two, some activities that you can do with them that are they're educational, but they're also fun, are you can teach them to cook or sew if you do either of those. You can also teach them some other skill that you have, like if you can knit, if you're a dad and you're really good with, or a mom, and you're really good with computer stuff, you can maybe teach them some programming or how to build their own game or something like that. Or you can learn a new skill together, all together, something you have never learned before either that you've always been wanting to learn. Maybe they want to learn it too, and you do it together. So that's something you can do. Another thing is video chats. So we live in the technology that we have today. You can let them have video chat dates with their friends. Let them talk to their friends on the phone. Let them video chat with their friends, especially younger kids who can't go on their play dates and things like that. Maybe they can video chat and play dolls over the video, or whatever, you know, Legos, and build stuff and talk to each other, or whatever it is, the ages. Teenagers, you know, they'll just sit there and yammer all day. But, you know, video chat. But you can also have grandparents or relatives do phone calls if they don't know how to video chat. They can video chat if they know how to. And read the kids' stories and make it fun. Make it time together, because maybe they can't go see the grandparents because we're all in isolation right now, right? Quarantine, especially elderly. So it would be neat for them to have that time to talk to them, or video chat if possible. Online resources. So I'm going to put as much stuff in the link in the description down below as I can, and I may add to it in days to come, because there may be some stuff I find later. But there are a lot of museums and zoos that have online resources that you can use for free, and virtual field trips and things like that. So those are great ideas to keep them occupied, but it's also educational and fun at the same time. And there are a lot of homeschool curriculums that are free that are out there. If you end up needing that for any reason, I'm thinking that schools are going to try to send work home. I'm not sure, just because it depends on the school. I don't know. But if you need that, I'm going to have down below. There's some great color pages down below, or I'm going to put down below a site that's got some great free color pages if kids like art and like things to color. So some online resources, that's another thing that's my number 4 tip. I'm going to put that down below. So number 5, set up an activity table. So like if your kids like crafts or art or Legos or whatever it is, or you can even do more than one activity table, set up some tables for them to do these things so that they keep that mess in that area, and your whole house doesn't become this huge, my kids are home from school for 4 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever, and my house is a tornado, right? Because we know that's going to happen. So if you can keep like maybe have a board game area, maybe have a craft area, maybe have other activity areas. If your kids like science, you can have a science table, put some household things out for them to test. You can make a science experiment at just about anything. You can give them bowls of different substances and ask them to test it with vinegar, if you have vinegar. You can give them, have them make slime. You can have them make lots of different things, right? You can test different substances to see if a certain object if it floats in that substance. You can, there's just so many, they're all on the internet. Google, this is what I have, what can I do with it for an experiment, right? Pinterest is great, has got great resources for those kinds of activities too. For household items, that's what I would Google for. What experiments can I do with everyday household items? I would do that. So you could set up a table with that type of activity. So a great one that's also maybe going to be useful is to plant a spring garden. Have your kids help you plant a garden, or start the seeds, getting them ready. Or maybe an herb garden that could go on your windowsill or something like that. So that's another activity. That's my number 6 that is actually useful, especially right now with the food shortage. It might be useful later on, but also you can teach them about the plants. You can teach them about what type of plant you're growing, and all the different things about it. So that's another educational but fun thing that they can do. Number 7, go on a nature hike. Collect leaves, collect acorns, collect pine cones. Obviously, you're not going to want to go on a hike with a bunch of people, right? Because that's not what we're supposed to be doing. But if you're just you and your family, that's one thing. And you need to get outside some, especially if you don't have a backyard. But get out, get some fresh air, and you could take those items, come back, and either make crafts with them, or they could use them to do some research and study. What kind of plant is this? What kind of tree did this leaf come off of? What kind of acorn, what tree did this acorn come off? All those types of things you can research. And take pictures. Also, you can take a camera and take pictures, or use your phone, and the kids can look up the insects or birds that they see. and do some research on them as they go. They can make drawings as they go, make them a little journal out of just regular paper. You can fold it together, staple it. They have a science journal. Add several sheets of paper. Tell them you want them to draw, you know, however many birds they see, or count how many birds they see, or things like that. So you can do that on a nature hike. You can do so many things, so many. I'm sure there's some I'm not even thinking of right now. You can, number 8, make Easter decorations if you celebrate Easter, because we know we're going to have Easter in a couple weeks, and you can have them decorate the house for that and get ready for Easter. Maybe do some research on other countries and how they celebrate Easter and things like that, if you want to go into it as far as a school aspect of it. And that was number 8, sorry. Number 9 is study the coronavirus, guys. So it's a great biology lesson. Teach them, especially the older kids, like the high school, the middle school, have them research the internet about the coronavirus. Where did it start? How long has it been around? It's been around a long time. There are lots of strains of it. It's just a new strain that we're dealing with now. And have them create charts and graphs and maps and spreadsheets if they know how to do that. And you know, they could even possibly write a research paper about it. But use that resource, especially for the high schoolers, because they need to keep their minds fresh of this kind of thing, of biology, and also just the using of those resources for later, because they're going to need to do that for college. So it would be a great study tool to use what's going on in this world right now for them to have something to do, but also to teach them something about biology. And I think it would be a great lesson. If I was teaching my high schoolers right now, that's exactly what I would have them be doing. And there's a 17-year-old boy who, I shared this link on my Facebook, who created a website that keeps up-to-date information worldwide about all the statistics that have been reported of the coronavirus. And I will try to put that link down below if I can. And it's a pretty cool graphic to use. Okay, number 10. This one's kind of funny, but it's true. You know, as a homeschool mom / science teacher, I save everything. My garage is so crowded with stuff. I save jars, I save cups, I save toilet paper rolls, I save paper towel rolls, because you can make all kinds of stuff out of that stuff, right? For all of you people who have bought up all the toilet paper, save those paper towel rolls and those toilet paper rolls and have your kids make stuff out of them. You could add that to your craft table. So don't waste, especially if you bought enough for 10 years. So make sure that you save those paper towel rolls. And if you don't have kids, save them and give them to someone who does to make some things with. All right, guys, I'm going to go make some soup, and I'm going to talk to you about that in a minute, about making things out of things that you have. And I'll show you what I'm going to make. But let me know if you guys have any other ideas in the comments about things you could do with your kids. I'm sure there's some I didn't even think of or that I forgot about, just because I wanted to hurry up and get this video out for you guys. And I will have all the links that I can think of down below. And if you guys have any links, put them in the comments. I'd be glad to have you put some links that are for kid activities for parents and ideas. All right, guys, I will talk to you in the next video. Have a great day. Y'all take care of yourself. Wash your hands and stay safe. So I just picked all the leftover turkey off of that carcass from making my turkey the other day. And I'm even saving the onions and the garlic that was inside of the turkey. I'm putting the carcass in a freezer bag. I'm going to stick this in the freezer to cook along with those bones and make some more broth. So these are the kinds of things we need to do all the time, but also during these hard times, this is a way to use the whole thing without waste, and you're also going to get more out of your food. You can, same thing with chicken. Do the same thing with chicken, or any bird that you have. I'm going to go ahead and use this for a recipe today, so this will feed us for a meal, along with some other stuff. And I'm going to put this up. I don't need to make broth this week, but next week I'll have this with the bones I've already saved, plus I've got some beef bones still. So save your bones, guys. Save them, especially now. And so far, I've got my stove on, I have got my pot out, and I emptied a whole jar of my bone broth in here. And yes, it looks like Jell-O, right? That's how you know that your bone broth that you made it right, is if it becomes gelatinous once it cools. And so that's what happened, and now it's going to be heated up. and it will get liquefied again. And I left that tallow in there as well. I want that good fat in there with my soup. So I'm going to heat this up. I'm going to add all this plus some other ingredients. All right, so far I've added in my turkey meat and all the leftover onion and garlic that was in there. I added in a tablespoon of my freeze-dried onions. I also added in about a half a cup, probably a little bit more than a half a cup of my freeze-dried bell peppers, but you can use fresh, whatever you have, if you have it. Really any vegetables you want, guys, because this is just a throw together soup, comfort soup to use up stuff, and use what you have. Especially in these times, we have to use what we have, right? So you put whatever vegetables you have. I also have 2 stalks of celery, freeze-dried celery in here. So that is all going to come together and come to a boil. I'm going to add a little bit more water to fill it up to the top. I will also be adding seasonings. I'll probably add, there's a lot of garlic in here already, so I'm not going to add that yet. I'm going to go ahead and add salt and pepper, and we'll see what else I decide to add in a little bit. Maybe some bay leaf to cook while it's simmering. So we'll let this get going, and I'll let you know what else I add to it. Alright guys, it is simmering. I've got everything in there. I added salt, Redmond salt, pepper, some bay leaves to this. I'm going to add a package of steamed cauliflower rice. You can add, if you're not doing keto, you add your regular noodles or whatever it is you want to add. If you happen to have in your pantry right now some low carb noodles, you can throw that in there, or you can just use cauliflower rice like I'm doing. Or you can just add more veggies or whatever you want. This is really a use everything you have right now situation, right? So we are using what we have, and it's going to be really great comfort food, soothing on the belly, because my belly's not too happy today. And yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw that in there and mix that up, and I will show it to you once it's come together some more. Alright guys, so I ended up adding some zucchini that I had that needed to be cooked as well. I would probably put green beans in here too if I had any, but I didn't realize I didn't have any. So you can just put about whatever vegetable you want in here, and it's going to taste good. Also, one tip I was going to tell you, if you don't have broth or canned broth or any of that in the house, and you don't have bouillon or anything like that during these times of food shortage, just use water. Just add more seasoning if you use water, because it's not going to have as much flavor, and obviously won't have as much nutrition as the bone broth will, but you can just use water and it will work just fine, because we got to do with what we got, right? Alright guys, there you have it. I topped it with a little Parmesan cheese just because I had some, and I'm going to go enjoy this soup.